Good evening, it's the Milford Planning Board, Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes from meeting of November 5th.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention.
Did
You
you
got no 81Ps?
No, still none.
12 Industrial Road?
Will you read my report?
Yes, please.
This is the application of Wesco at 612 Industrial Road, map 46.9, it's in an IV zone. Applicant requests amended site plan approval to occupy portions of the subject facility formerly occupied by Amazon and Green Mattress, who tried to burn the place down. Wesco recently acquired Annixter and has renewed a long-term lease with the owner to remain and expand into the remaining sections of the building. They will continue to provide regional distribution of communication and security products, electrical and electronic wire cabling materials to their customers from this Northeast distribution hub. Maybe we can get some equipment from them. The new single-tenant configuration includes the need for security fencing along the easterly and southerly portions of the site. The planned daily workforce estimates 50 employees, and of the 309 total parking spaces provided, 115 spaces are available outside of the secured fenced-in area. Both police and fire departments will continue to have full site access through the Knoxbox system that they're going to employ with the security fencing. More importantly to note is that this application now confirms that the total decommissioning of Amazon's involvement with the property. So let's hear a round of applause on that. All applicable zoning requirements appear to be met. Therefore, I recommend approval subject to relevant agency comments. I don't know if you want me to read through them quickly. Town engineer was favorable. Fire department mentioned the Knoxbox system and had comments about not obstructing the fire hydrants, and they're aware with that. They've been in contact with the fire department. Water department was favorable, no conflict. I did get a late memo from the highway surveyor. It was favorable, but I couldn't make copies because we have no connection.
Oh, no.
All right, take it,
Great.
Peter.
Good evening, Peter Bemis, Engineering Design Consultant. So Larry pretty much gave you the whole overview, pretty much all my presentation. Just wanted you to know that I was last here in March of 2018 for Annixter. Annixter is the company that will continue to occupy this building. However, they've been acquired by Wesco. Wesco's making a bigger investment in your community, taking over the entire building. From my perspective, it's great to see Amazon out of here as well, because Larry knows that we had a lot of involvement with some of those shenanigans that went on. The Green Mattress component, I'm not sure if they came back to you when they were a tenant. We created an exhibit for that building owner to put that tenant in there. I'm not sure if they had ever come to you to ask for permission to do that, but we did generate a drawing post 18 because they came in after there was this vacant space. But now Wesco will take the entire facility. What's very important is to have the secure facility. So we're wrapping that fence around these portions, as Larry mentioned. This green is the fire lane, basically, that we worked out with your fire department. So it's full communication, full disclosure with them. There are notes in the plans about every fire hydrant to ensure that there is a protected zone so that those fire hydrants are fully accessible. They do have products that have high value. That's the reason for the fencing. There are fencing details on our second sheet. So it was a kind of a dual-fold application to you. One, new user, whole building, new user needing a fence around the building. So I look forward to your support, be happy to answer any questions. Traffic will be much less with this use at this facility. That's what I will close with. Thank you.
Yes.
So I wasn't here for the original site plan approval of this, and so pardon me if some of these questions are not as relevant as they seem to be to me, but I don't see the change of use. I mean, the Wesco is warehouse and distribution. There wasn't
Well,
It's a
Amazon...
user.
Amazon-
It's really a user. So
Yeah, but we
Amazon,
don't do site plans based on who the tenant is, we base it on the use of the building.
Well, but the use of the building changed when Amazon left, because...
Aren't they warehouse and distribution as well?
No,
It
Amazon,
was, they changed from warehouse to some.
Storage, really.
Storage or something.
Storage
They-
battery units.
yeah.
Right, Amazon changed
Well, then
its
maybe
own
that's when
use.
the change of use should, excuse me.
It did, but now it's going back to warehouse.
I'm not
Well,
seeing a
it's-
change of
it's
use. I
going
don't
back-
think they need to be here. That's me.
Well,
Well, they needed the fence anyway.
I needed and really, Larry and I
But
talked
to the-
about it. We said, let's be redundant in how we apply it.
But to the use question,
Okay, if
it
I'm
would
going to
change,
go
well,
on.
let me finish the answer. The first use of Amazon that messed up all the traffic in town finally went away, and Amazon itself changed to a different type of use of the building.
They were fulfillment when they started, for sure. That was a fulfillment center.
So these guys are basically going to have a humongous contractor's yard compared to what Amazon used either the first time through or the second time through. And to document that Amazon is definitely gone, it was important to have a change of use site plan to confirm that for the record. And as Peter mentioned, then they had the addition of the security fencing and, the locked gates and stuff. So that would have triggered the site plan review as well. So it was more complicated and convoluted than normally would be.
And there was reference to the police and fire having access through the Knox box system, but the fire chief's memo says the police do not have access through the Knox box system.
I mean, we reached out. I'm not sure what involvement would be the police separate from them, but, we can work something out for access if they don't. I don't know if there's another way of doing that, but I'm not trying to preclude the police having access.
Right.
I was just trying to make it, we really want a secure site. That's what's important.
That's understandable. I just want to acknowledge or suggest that it has to be a remedy to the fact that there's some expectation the police can access via Knox box, but according to the fire department, they cannot.
Understood.
So that's got to be worked out.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
And Larry, you had mentioned that the helipad lawn area provides emergency access, and I wasn't,
Oh, that's on the 40B. That's not on this case.
never mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
anything else? The only, Martha's comment, the fire department has got to be the one that's got to be able to go with the trucks.
Right.
The police department,
Yeah.
They can get in other ways, and the fire department's the only one who has Knox box keys. That's,
So the police generally do not?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I'll communicate with police if the chief feels as though that we have to make some sort of remedy here, then, maybe we put a gate in and we give them a key for that or something to that effect. I'll work that detail out. If you want to make that part of your decision, that would be great. I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion, we approve the amended site plan?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the amended site plan. Any further discussion? There are none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Great.
Unanimous of
Thank you
five.
very much. Very good. Larry, thanks again. Good to see you.
Internet and computer
Yeah,
access.
yeah, exactly. I understand, Larry. Thank you. Thanks for being with me.
Next, we have the referral for 400 Deer Street to the zoning board.
Yeah, I can read through my memo quickly if you like. This is what we would call Stone Ridge 3. The applicant has captioned it Residences at Stone Ridge Summit. The above referenced 40B development is being proposed on 25.2 acres at 400 Deer Street, northwesterly off of Route 85 Cedar Street and lying north of 495. The proposal consists of 150 studio, 1, 2, and 3-bedroom residential units in one 5-story building. All of the units are rental, with 38 of the units being designated affordable. However, with them being rental units, we get to count all of them in the SHI calculation once it's built. The proposed 40B is within the Stone Ridge Business Park that was originally approved in 2008 for the construction of 4 office research building and the extension of Deer Street. Substantial improvements have been completed, including the construction of Deer Street itself, drainage, utilities, a new bridge over the Charles River. And in addition, the Planning Board approved a special permit in 2017 for the Restaurant Depot at 100 Deer Street. Then in 2018, the ZBA approved a comprehensive permit for the residents at Stone Ridge, so-called Stone Ridge 1. That was 242 units. And then in 2021, they granted another comprehensive permit for Stone Ridge 2 at 300 Deer Street. Also, Milford score currently on the SHI has recently been updated to 9.5% subsidized units. This latest 40B development will occupy 25 acres, or 31% of the overall original 80-acre business park development, and is a logical extension and final stage of the 3-phase Stone Ridge 40B complex that they had originally approved back in whenever the first one was, 2017.
On the other side of 495 on Cedar Street, across from the gas station.
The helipad lawn area required at Stone Ridge 2 is being retained to provide for safe and adequate emergency access. Given the long distance, the apartments will be from Route 85. Off-street parking is being proposed at a ratio of 2 spaces per unit, and substantial open space is being retained. A pool with terrace is proposed, and an event green is being provided adjacent to the building to the west, as well as a fenced dog park. Maybe, well, I won't say. Therefore, I recommend a favorable report be forwarded to the ZBA, subject to relevant comments. And you may, I don't know if you can see very well on the plans, but several years ago now, Gutierrez did establish a conservation restriction on all the wetlands area in the overall original business park. So there is a permanent open space protection. But I thought it showed up on one of these pages. Well, so much is not. At any rate.
It's the pleasure of the board.
Well, I'll go with my helipad question now that we're on the correct project. I'm not sure how that lawn area, although I didn't have plans available to me, but how that lawn area increases access, provides emergency access. Isn't there a roadway system? I mean, I'm just not envisioning it.
There's one street in.
I'm sorry?
Chris, you want to put...
It's just there's the one street in off of Cedar Street.
Oh, I see.
So in the case that there was some horrible accident and that was blocked off, they have the helipad to be able to area to be able to
At least for...
I just couldn't
med flight.
envision it.
vent flight
Yeah.
somebody out.
Yeah, and that was required with the second 40B that hasn't been started yet, but was recently approved. So they kept that.
And so with this, we effectively lose the, I'm using air quotes here, business park?
Yeah, it's pretty much gone anyway.
Yeah,
You
that's
lost
what, I had Joe explain it to me, because, again, I wasn't here for the earlier phases. Thank you.
At this stage of the game, it sounds like they're going to be starting Stone Ridge 2 at the first of the year. So even if they didn't do a 40B on this last phase, at this stage of the game, I think it's unlikely that they're going to be able to find a research and development company that wants to go up there. So
Yeah, fair
might as
enough.
well finish it off.
If you're gonna lose some, this was the place to lose it.
Yeah,
Because there were two, because we already lost
right.
all
So
of it
much
anyway.
Rest of it.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and
It's not a bad-
research and development and business parks, kinda out the door right now.
Well, we got a new bridge over the Charles River, and we got all of that massive area under CR, permanent open space.
You wouldn't really know you're going over the bridge.
Really?
Yeah. It's a culvert. It's not a,
Any other?
Seacom Bridge or
Chris?
something?
No questions?
You'd be the only one that'd be
Well, yeah, I mean, I could,
beat up a little bit on this.
as far as just adding more students to our schools, that
Yeah.
we're just trying to, I mean, obviously, I mean,
I don't-
that's just speaking to it. I know the current Stone Ridge 1, there are students that are coming to schools. We do have a bus stop. You know, we are looking at the new high school and our enrollment projections, and we're taking these types of infrastructures, you know, into consideration. We just hope that the state also sees it the same way that we do. So, you know, it's like
Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like I said, yeah, you're ready for that. You know, it's certainly, you know, I hate to stop progression and build up of the need of residential space in our area, but there is also what comes from it, and that's students, and we're just, you know, busting at the seams of our school infrastructure. So it's kind of a quandrum for me overall.
And mass housing clearly doesn't care.
So, yeah.
Because we mentioned as you had input in on the initial site approval letters, we mentioned all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, yeah. Check. So,
And I know, yeah, that it's always thought that a place like this doesn't necessarily, is a place where families typically go to, but I think that we are seeing it anyways, especially after the fact that our downtown area is so, you know, there's no vacancy, right?
That was more us in terms of not putting in 2 bedrooms and stuff, but when we went to 40 Bs and the 3 bedrooms, there was a thought process that certainly was no longer true.
Right.
That you're going to get families.
Yeah,
And that's the thing that the state doesn't respond to.
right, and clearly a 3-bedroom is just that, it's a family dwelling.
yeah, they have a requirement for 1, 2, 3, and studios. So
yeah.
we can't
yeah,
say
but
much
it's
about
not, I think you're seeing a lot more families with children over at the PRD than you are over here.
Yeah, and the illegal bedrooms in the basement.
Oh, dear.
Extra room.
Yeah.
So, if I may?
Yes.
Thank you, Vic. So, as you stated in your memo, and as my understanding, Larry, is that Milford was recently, I still call it the Department of Housing and Community Development, I can't remember their new acronym, certified us as having 9.5% subsidized units, whereas 10% is required. But isn't there another development that is not yet, that has been approved but is not yet included in that count?
Right, because they haven't even pulled their permits.
Right.
Stone Ridge 2 hasn't pulled their permits, in part, I think, because they were afraid if they pulled their permits, and then it would be used against them
Right.
when they filed Stone Ridge 3. So they waited, and now all of a sudden, we're going to apply for all the building permits at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't- So, but
That's
it
a
doesn't.
heck of a game they've got going there.
But the state wasn't going to count them anyway, because they want them not only to get a 40B, or get a comprehensive permit issued by the ZBA, and not only getting building permits, and not only getting built, they want them occupied. All that has to occur, which is why we finally had the building officials send in all of the data to document that Stone Ridge 1 is done and it's occupied, and that's how we got up, partly how we got up to 9.5, because there were also some other 40Bs hanging out there that hadn't been documented either. So, you know.
So they've been sitting on an approved comprehensive permit for 3 years in order to
Game the
To
system.
ensure
I'm
that
trying to
they,
use a word that's not pejorative.
No, there may not be one.
to-
Yeah, to game
Not
the
to
system.
manipulate the system so that they can have another one
Yes.
approved.
Yeah,
And while that was going on, we got 2 others from somebody else, too.
well, there's yet a fourth one out there potentially as well, so, yeah.
Just pile them on, according to the state, but they don't care, so we could be up to 15%, but they don't care, because we're only at 9.5 right now.
Chris, I share your concern about, the area really needs additional housing, but, and affordable housing, but wow, I mean, we're going to end up with 15+% if all these go through. I mean, I'm grabbing a number out of the air that has no bearing in truth, folks, but,
Well, but at 9.5, and the other one's hanging fire at, I think about 2 seconds after they do something with Stone Ridge 3, they're going to not have to be so cordial with the other 2 that we're just handing out tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, that,
You think the state's gonna back them up on that?
well,
That I wanna see. I'll wait for
they
that,
don't-
because their job is to approve those, as far as I'm concerned. They're there to rubber stamp every one of these they put in.
but they did, the agency that does the site approval is a different agency. And if they file their comprehensive permit, which they have, and ZBA does something on it, it's not the same guys that decide whether it gets site approval or not. It's not mass housing, it's the executive office then that's involved. And then they have to actually follow the law. So the ZBA doesn't have to necessarily do any more if we're even close to 10%, which obviously we are. And we would have been this high if it had turned in the paperwork a year or so ago. Of course, it didn't help that the state couldn't manage to use the 2020 census data to have, accurate numbers to do the calculation. They finally did that just this last year. Anyway,
So getting back to this plan, I mean, look at what you're getting. You're getting a dog park, a walking
That's
path,
private.
Yeah, we're not getting.
yoga on the green, a movie on the green. It looks like an impressive development.
if you go up there,
not a bad
it's a nice
development,
looking, it's a very nice looking.
I think, and what a nice place
Here
for
is-
it.
is-
The only time you have to see it when you're going on the highway and you look to the right.
Right.
And to that point, it's a new facility, it's a nice
Yes.
facility, it's been,
you're right.
it's
Yeah.
so far been very well maintained.
It doesn't, I think a lot of the people that live there are like the access to the highway, so they're not, it's not like they're putting a ton of traffic on our streets either. So it's,
And they're probably all legal.
I don't like Gutierrez's tactics of how he does things, but they do a good job of maintaining all that property.
Yes.
Yeah,
They've been around. They've been around for a long time.
yep.
This is the final buildable lot in that area because it comes up to conservation land, so that there can't be a Stone Ridge 4, 5, 6.
As much as they would love it.
Yeah, now they're into it. They're just,
And just, I know this is more of a premature question, but the infrastructure in the area as far as sewer and water can handle, obviously, we haven't even got to Stone Ridge 2, now this is Stone Ridge 3. We can,
it was, everything for all 3 sites was designed all at the same time.
including like the sewer pump station.
Yes.
Everything was designed so that it can be,
I know it's a little premature, but might as well get ahead of it now with the question.
it's like I was saying before you guys got here, from a conservation standpoint, everything's, we've basically already seen and approved everything. There's some tweaking that they'll do, but mostly both from, like, when they designed all the stormwater, all the wetlands, crossings, all of that stuff was all done big picture, because it has to be. And so they, I would think MIPA even required them to do it that way, actually, for even the sewer.
A lot of that was done when it was a business park, the original business park.
Yeah, but
Overall.
when they did to his point, like the sewer pump station,
Right, yeah.
that was designed for all of this being residential.
For the 40B, right. That's why it
Designed
had-
for a residential use, not a business park,
Yes.
which is
That's why it had to be
a
upgraded.
lot more flushing toilets in them,
Yeah.
residential.
It's set up, they have more than one tank, and so they're only running part of it right now, and then they'll run more or something. The septic, sewer pump station is completely built out. They don't have to make any upgrades to it, given this is I'm pretty certain.
Maybe we could,
Yeah, it's only a recommendation.
maybe Jamie will move up there.
Do we need a vote for the referral, or?
Yeah, we need to
Yes.
send a recommendation to the ZBA.
I mean, it can be general unless you have some specific things that you want me to list. Because I would assume you'd want, well, they were expecting me to send a report anyway, so I wasn't going to redo it. I was going to give them a copy of what I
Yeah.
gave you guys.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we send Larry's letter, send a favorable recommendation to the ZBA.
I'll second that.
Moved in second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous of 5.
All righty then.
Okay, before we adjourn, I happened to ask a question, and Liz gave me the answer on the way in. What's the name of that?
Sunila.
Yeah.
Sunila.
Senila Crossing?
Yeah.
They haven't,
Fisk.
they
Yeah.
haven't finished the road as far as the final code on pilot. And first of all, I wouldn't want it topped this year, I want it topped in the spring. But she said that they had reached out to her to have a meeting and to go over it. She's got a couple of,
Yeah, there's
Whoever's
some.
taking over contract, EMP.
So Marcelo, who did work on the subdivision he was working on the lots with Mirage. Mirage had Marcelo reach out to me to set up a meeting to figure out what needs to get finished. And so that, I just haven't had a chance to get it, but I think I'll probably try to do it this week if we continue to have no internet.
Yeah, as long as you don't need a computer or email.
There's no
for it.
computers right now, so.
You got a drafting board, don't you?
Chalkboard? Unfortunately, I did my drawing last, I was doing some drafting by hand last week. Anyway, so we'll set up a meeting, but I do want them to, there's a pretty significant sinkhole next to the westerly retaining wall on Barber's Way, and I'd like to see them fix that this fall so that it can have a little extra time before it gets accepted or anything.
Yeah, and I think the board, if you hadn't done it, you were going to vote to release a substantial portion of the remaining bond, but I never got the paperwork back, so I think we still have like 700 and some thousand.
yeah, we should have enough money to cover it. It's,
But that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you voted to reduce the bond, but I
They haven't
think
done it, because they didn't get the paperwork
they didn't do
back.
what they needed to
he
do.
passed away.
And then he passed away, and since
Yeah, that was
then,
the other one.
So, well, but he was a partner and a signator on all of the paperwork. So I'll try and reach out to their attorney once we have internet access and see that maybe now this can all get their attention again. And at worst case, from our standpoint, is it'd be better to take the vote again. So it's a fresh vote, and then have them follow up and actually get the right paperwork in. But they may need to do some other legal maneuvering in terms of having the proper successors sign. So I don't know how they had it all set up,
Yeah.
but I know, at least one of the principals passed away, so.
Yeah, I think,
Now, my opinion is, on the paving is again, that's only my opinion, so would the board, does the board agree with the paving should be done in the spring, not this time of year?
I would definitely rely on your
It would be better, but at the end, at the end of the day, I don't know that we have the right to tell them that. As of right now, they're doing their subdivision.
Yeah,
Unless it's in our bylaw anyway that we control when paving can be done, which I don't believe it is, if they want to do it, they have every right to do it. If we were doing it, if we were taking the bond and doing it, I would probably agree with you, but that isn't the case. So I don't know, I don't know.
I'll check, because I feel like it is in there someplace.
It would have to be in the conditions, in the condition of approval or in, but I don't
Well,
think that's
I don't think they're going to get to it
They probably won't.
we're already in the middle, end of
Well, if it gets-
November.
Yeah, if it gets cold, they're not
Well,
going.
the plants are going to close at some point.
No, the plants,
There's always somebody open nowadays.
Right.
They could always get asphalt if they really wanted it, but I don't think they'd want to necessarily pay that price.
Maybe that's something we think about in the future, is including a provision in
As a
our
condition.
decisions that gives us that authority, if it's not already.
Yeah, maybe I read it someplace else, but I swear I saw it someplace.
Well, and you can always add it to future conditions, just in terms of the form that's used. It's not like it necessarily needs a
I know,
subdivision bylaw amendment.
I know we've held it up before when Mike was in, we've held it up because of the
Yeah.
weather conditions.
To be honest, on this one,
Yeah,
I'd almost, if they're willing to do it, I'd almost like to get them
Get it done.
done and out of here, and have them do it, as opposed to us pulling the bond and going through all that. This has been going on for,
yeah.
it's been a while, so.
Yes.
If they're willing to do it, and they still have to meet all the requirements that you would normally do in terms of
I got to do a site walk with them. I'm certain there's going to be work that needs to be done before they
Yeah.
would be able to pave anyway.
Again, if they're gonna do it, they gotta put a heavy tack coat down.
yeah.
Do you know off the top of your head, who's the attorney now? I don't even remember who it was then.
I don't, that was the guy though, because,
Anyway,
That was the only thing I had. That's the only thing I had been thinking. Again, the problem with that thing, it's not a site, you don't think about it. So, anything else from the board?
No, I just think I see the other two that we have. I just want to, Larry, when you do the comments on those, I would make sure that your comment is in there about where we are, and we've already approved that would get us over 10.
Yes.
Just so that that's out there.
yes, and there's gonna definitely be a list of items that are of concern on both of these, so it's not gonna be the same kind of memo. But to that point, even though they're meeting right away to start the process, they'll obviously have to continue and get some other stuff done. So I figured we'll try to get these both on the agenda for the December 17th meeting. And speaking of the December 17th meeting, assuming we have computer, internet access by next Tuesday morning, when I have to send the legal notice out for that hearing, 0 East Main Street was submitted today, the remand from the land court. So as long as I can get the legal notice in Tuesday morning, we'll have the public hearing on the 17th, and then we can do these referrals just for fun.
And that is going to be, that's the one I have to do the Zoom for, right?
Yeah, unless he comes up, yeah,
Well, we'll advertise
I'll
it.
work on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the legal notice doesn't have to say anything about it being a Zoom
Oh,
access.
right.
It's only the posting for the open meetings law that has to be specific, and hopefully by then we'll have talked him into, letting Kevin pay to fly him up here.
That would be my strong preference.
Well, it would seem to me that if they've got a case on remand, that the attorney ought to be here. That's just me. Anyway, so,
What's the pleasure of the board?
To adjourn?
Moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, unanimous of 5. Good night.
Gracious.